The oil bust in the mid-1980s was felt all across America. For some, it meant cheaper gas at the pump. But for those working in the oil industry itself, well, the move was devastating. And the pain was especially felt hard here in Northwest Louisiana. As part of our 70 Stories to celebrate 70 years at KTBS 3, Johnette Magner takes a look back at the oil boom and bust and how it forever changed our area.
In April 1980, crude oil was at $35 a barrel, at an all-time high, equivalent to $134 a barrel in today's economy. Up in North Caddo Parish, home to Caddo Pine Island Field, Oil City had become a bustling town.
12 hours a day, 7 days a week, no days off while you're drilling. It was intense. And to say that it was booming is an understatement.
Oil rigs covered the landscape, as did the companies that supported them, and banks were happy to lend money.
The banks were loaning money on signature loans, not worrying about any kind of collateral. I mean, it was a great time to be in the business, because if you were, quote, an oil man, you could buy anything you want and sign a note and off to the races. People were buying airplanes and expensive cars.
Caddo Lake also became the site of the first overwater oil platform, and a pipeline was built to send some of the crude from Oil City to a refinery in Baton Rouge, owned by Standard Oil.
You didn't have to go to Houston, you had it in Shreveport. Some of it was in Monroe. You had big drilling firms that had just magnificent drilling rigs.
The oil business was good and highly lucrative for many decades, but in what seemed like overnight, the boom became a bust.
The boom was a true boom. And then, very quickly, there was a horrible comeuppance where things began to collapse, and it was truly like dominoes falling.
Shortly after oil prices peaked in 1980, Saudi Arabia began producing at full capacity, and supply became greater than demand. By 1986, oil had dropped from $35 a barrel to $10. In today's dollars, that would be $134 down to $29. In 1 year, the number of drilling wells in the U.S. went from 2,300 to barely 1,000, and the number of petroleum producers dwindled from more than 11,000 to 5,200. One of the largest independent operators, Crystal Oil, lost nearly $200 million in the first quarter of 1986 before eventually filing for bankruptcy.
It was like a tsunami, or it was like a major earthquake, except that all the infrastructure's there. Within a very short time, you start seeing banks beginning to collapse.
This drop in oil prices also led to a severe financial crisis for Louisiana, since oil and gas revenue accounted for 40% of the budget back then.
At one point in time, Oil City was home to 25,000 people. Today, Oil City is home to 800.
At the Louisiana State Oil and Gas Museum, you learn the history of Oil City and see oil field equipment, once shiny but now rusted. There are still wells pumping in these parts, but most are retired, sitting as a reminder of this oil patch that was once one of the largest in America. For KTBS 3 News, I'm Johnette Magner.
You can find more details on the area's oil boom and bust right now at ktbs.com.